the achievement of getting something, of earning something. And not just that, being able to share, time. Chrysalis, didn't we just have a blast over there sharing great experiences, but not the experiences? How much talk we had about, hey, what are you doing new in the industry? What's new? What's coming next? Guys, there is more than a million agents in the industry. What are we doing different to be different? And by these things, I mean like being on the trainings, earning these trips, and everything that I'm going to tell you about in the next 20 minutes is going to be powerful because this is not just, hey, we sell final expense. This is who you can sell it to. This is no. You guys already know more than enough about every single piece of theoretical part of life insurance. I don't need to be standing here telling you about this. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to teach you what are the tools that American Amicable has for you guys to be able to help more people, make more money, and be more efficient. Simple. How do we differentiate and how we can help you to make more money? And when you make more money, that means you're helping more people. And when you're helping more people, that means you're also recruiting more people. And when you recruit more people, you're also it's a change. At the end of the day, it's all connected. So, all right. But for the people that don't know this, I used to be an agent too. I used to sell. And when I started selling, my first company I ever was appointed with was actually American Amicable for the life point. And it's funny because when I started selling American Amicable, I said, you know what? I need to come up with what are the biggest secret of this company, the biggest secrets. So I developed what I call the 8 elements of success with American Amicable. Number one, when you are developing a team, when you are developing your agency, the reality is 92% of the agents in this industry, they all end up failing. They all go back to doing Uber, anything else but staying in this industry. And what is the main reason for that to happen? They don't make money quick enough. And one of the reasons why is because when you get licensed and when you recruit someone, it takes them about 60 to 90 days to be profitable, to actually start seeing some money. And one of the biggest factors of that is I want you to remember when you first got licensed is as soon as you pass that test, it takes a long time for you actually to start selling because when you pass that test, you're not ready to sell. You just pass your test, your license, congratulations. The next 30, 45 days, you're going to be filling out contracts, actually getting trained. So when you first start, and especially in the industry, and you want to grow a team, you have to make sure that your people, the people that you're recruiting, are profitable fast enough for you to be able to keep them in this industry. And this is number one element is you have to find 2 or 3 companies that have all diversity of products in them. American Amicable to me was a huge part of my success. And for the people that don't know this, I ran an IMO, kind of like not as big as FFL, but we went from 36 people in a year to having over 1,200 agents just focusing in 2 companies. Why? Because we focus on them making money quick enough for them to stay with us in the industry. American Amicable, just so you guys know, I wish we had more time, but we don't. American Amicable has term products. But the term products, when we think about American Amicable, and I want to share this with you guys, is the regular term, the reality is not very competitive, especially when you get to the closer to the older ages. Where we are different, and where I think we have a lot of success, is with our term for return of premium. Everybody in this industry, not just agents, but any client that you guys come across with, they all want the same policy. Everybody's looking for the $1 a month and $1 million of coverage. And that doesn't even exist, but everybody's looking for that same coverage. Now, what is the closest thing that we have in our portfolio that looks like that product in their minds? Term products. Think about this. How many of you guys at home, your first policy, your very first policy when you became an agent or before you became an agent, how many of you guys, your first policy was a term policy? My very first policy was a term product. Why? Because it was the lowest cost with the highest protection. And sometimes we're not ready for more. So we have to understand that for some clients, term is important. But here's the second thing. Usually when you talk to a client, you tell them, hey, listen, yes, we have that type of product that you're looking, but then the next question is, well, what happens if I don't die? So I'm going to pay 20, 30 years for a premium and I get nothing. Usually the answer is yes. But with the ROP, any client buying a term with ROP, they get 75% of everything that they paid back when they don't die. In addition, our return of premium term has something really cool, which with time, when the client starts paying their premiums, we call that accumulation, that 75%, we call that cash value, even though it's a term. And we allow clients to borrow from that cash value throughout the policy life, which to me is insane because it's a term policy. So people tend to love this type of products. The year, just so that you guys know this, the year that I started selling ROP policies instead of selling regular term, I doubled my income in 1 year. Simple as that. Because the true cost of an ROP, even though the clients are paying higher premiums, is that the cost is only 25%, because 75% of everything that they're paying monthly is what? Their savings. So people tend to love that. So keep that in mind. The name of that product is called Safeguard Term. Now, on the next line of products, we have whole life products. We have final expenses. Now, everybody should have a final expense company wide. Even though you're not a final expense writer, the reality is you're going to have clients that they're going to get their policies denied. And we don't want them to be uninsured. And you also don't want to leave money off the table. So you want to be able to sell them a final expense policy, because having a final expense policy is better than having nothing. Now, that is one concept. Now, what I like to teach is, if you're not cross-selling to every customer that you sell an IUL and a term policy, a final expense policy with a concierge service, you're losing money. What do you mean, Paula? Well, here's the thing. We have a final expense policy that has a concierge service. The concierge service, what it does for the client, in addition to paying that final expense product, is what? We will help the client with their will, because everybody needs a will, and that's usually expensive. In addition to that, when the person dies, we're going to help that family get everything done. Planning the funeral, negotiating for them, finding the most inexpensive funeral home around the area. In addition, if they die in the wrong state, in the wrong country, or maybe they're just here but they want to be buried in a different country, that is called a repatriation. The Everest concierge package that is included in our final expense will help them get repatriated as well, which is huge. And the best part of our final expense, and this is why I cross-sell this product with any policy. I used to sell an IUL, and I would tell the client, hey, by the way, I got this policy. We could pay $20, $30, $40 extra, and here's what it's gonna do for you. It's gonna allow us to do your will. It's gonna allow us to make sure that when you die, your family has everything taken care of, because it's a white glove service type of service. And in addition, I don't know if you knew this or not, but when you die, even though you have an IUL or a term policy, we need a death certificate, and that might take 3 to 4 weeks to get it done. Now, with this policy, if you've had the policy for more than 2 years, we will guarantee to pay the death benefit to the client in less than 48 hours of death with no death certificate. Now, that's huge. Why? Because that's the money for the actual final expense. That's the money for them to be able to bury their family without thinking about any stress at all. Okay? Keep that in mind. The last, I would say, line of products that we have is we have Infinity Banking products, which is a pretty cool whole life policy that allows you to learn how to use money without giving your power away. All right? So think about this. Everybody in this line pays taxes. What if I can teach you to use that money that you give to the IRS to put it in a whole life policy, and not just a traditional whole life policy, because those are a little bit boring, but a participating whole life policy, so that you can fund your retirement, all right? have life insurance, and still be able to borrow that money in 12 months from now, because you still have to save that money to pay the IRS, those $10,000, $15,000. You still have to save them somewhere. Might as well save them through their life insurance than just in your bank account, because when you give them to the IRS, what's the only benefit they're going to give you? Well, congratulations, you're not going to jail because you pay taxes. Any other benefit? No. Well, doesn't it make more sense to actually fund a whole life participating product and still be able to pay the IRS with that money, but leave that money compounding interest for the rest of your life? Hell yes. So again, we have really cool investment products. And the one that I'm most excited about, because I know this team is super huge about it, is what? Our IUL. We just launched our IUL. Our IUL is now available for everybody in this call to sell have to $500,000, simplified issue, instant decision. You sit down with your client, you tell them name, address, boop, you fill out the application, you hit submit, and in less than 30 seconds, you're gonna get approved or decline. And you get paid in less than 48 hours. Boom. So again, our IUL is our new product. It's called Intelligent Choice, and that is a huge product that is now available for you guys, okay? Number one element is having diversity of products just under one company, and this is huge, right? Term products, ROP, final expenses with concierge service or no concierge service, that's up to you, and investment products all under one roof, instant decision. They all have living benefits and great riders available for you guys, okay? Element number two, for the people that have ever written a policy with us, it's super simple. It's only 4 steps. We quote 1 page of underwriting, yes, no questions, personal information. You just kind of put the client's information, you sign the application, and done. Now, a lot of people say, Paula, it looks so old. Yes, it looks super old. It looks like it was built in 1980. I get it. Probably a lot before that. But it is simple. I'd rather have something simple than something that looks really cool and is complicated and long. Writing an application with us takes less than 10 minutes if you have all the information available. All right. And the best part is we have an instant decision, and we have actually a smart decision engine that at the end of the application will interact with you. Meaning you might have submitted a policy, and let's say we found something in the client's record. Hey, they didn't tell you that they're taking this medication, and we'll tell you, hey, this pop up, ask them about it and send us more information right away. Instead of you having to play a ping pong game with underwriting, exchange information back and forth for weeks, we will allow you to show you what we found for you to ask the client right there and just put the comments in there, so that when we actually review the policy, we can give you a final decision whether we approve or decline. Okay, that's huge. Number 3, signature options. We have 4 types of signature options: digital, so in person, voice signature in Spanish and English, email signature, and a text signature. Text signature is for sure the most common one, is the fastest and is the easiest. Okay, since everything is so easy, we have all the products, instant decision, easy application, signature options. Well, this is kind of the most important. We got to pick quick. And we pay daily for that reason, so that you guys can get what? Quick cash flow as well. All right. So that's important. Number 5, customer service. Guys, this is huge. Please pay attention to this one. Okay. So we have something called the live chat. So I want you guys to learn this, because this is going to save you so much time and effort. You can actually, instead of calling our company, just go into your portal, hit live chat, and get connected with any of our departments. Contracting, claims, if you have to change anything on an existing customers, maybe you have to talk to commissions because they overpay you for a policy that you wrote, whatever. But the most important one is the risk assessment. Let's say that I'm sitting down with a client. Usually, reality hits in is you ask them for conditions and medications, and they not just tell you one, right? They give you like a freaking Bible of medications and conditions. So you can literally just go into the live chat, hit risk assessment, and say, hi, we will connect you to our underwriting team. It's a person that actually takes time to review your policy. So these are the people that will decline and improve your policy. And they will say, hello, you're going to tell them, I am sitting down with a client. They just gave me these medical conditions and this medications. Are they eligible or not for this product? And they will tell you yes or no based on the information you tell them. Now, that is going to save you so much time, guys. If you're not sure, just do a risk assessment. It's going to help you out a lot. Okay. Number 6, multicultural support. We do take IT numbers, for a lot of parts in the country, especially in the border, California, Florida, Texas. IT numbers are huge. There's a huge market. We don't require social security. You can help any client as long as they have an IT number and a valid ID from any type of country. We do have also Spanish support in all our departments, and we do have marketing tools available in Spanish and in English, of course. When you go through our page, you can just order any marketing material at no cost at all. We will send you the actual physical brochures for you guys to be able to have those as well. Number 7, we do have weekly trainings. We have weekly trainings in English and Spanish. But why is this important, guys? You guys might already be producing, but this ties up back to the beginning of the training where you have new people all the time, right? And how many of you guys have actually 10 extra hours a week for you to be able to be spending a lot of training time with the new agents? Not all of you. So we want you guys to hook up those agents into our trainings. Thursdays with Michelle, Wednesdays with me, so that we can help you train those agents as well. We have already, for the people that don't know this, if you actually go into our portal, in this little tab right here that says e-training, we already have a full library of English and Spanish trainings available for any new agent in case they need to, maybe they need to learn about the basics of final expense. Maybe they want to learn about IULs. We already have all those trainings for recorded. So just hook them up into our e-trainings and have them start, going through all of those, through all that content. It's very important. And number 8, and I like to close up the 8 essentials with this because this is huge. What if I told you that we have a tool that if you actually use it, and we have tons of agents using this tool, but what if I told you that if you learn how to use this, you're never going to have to worry about finding clients again? Good, right? All right. So first I'm going to tell you how much it costs, this program, and then I'm going to teach you how to use it. How much does it cost and what is it? So you can give to any person that you like that's between 18 and 85 years old, all right? All they have to do is to be alive. You can give them a $5,000 accidental and death life insurance policy at no cost for them. It's free for the client. Now, nothing in life is free. So who's going to pay for that coverage? Well, we are agents. Well, how much does it cost? It's only $2 for the $5,000 a year. That's $2 a year. That's nothing. Now, how are you going to use it? Think about this. How many of you guys go to church? I see some hands up. Yeah, some of you guys. Good. Now, for the people that don't raise your hand, you might start going to church after this. So get ready. So you go to church, you talk to the priest. One of the biggest issues at churches is people die. People die and they don't have life insurance. So then they go to the priest and they say, hey, we need your help, go fund. Now, what if you talk to the priest and say, hey, Father, and obviously you need to have a relationship with them, otherwise it would be weird. But you say, hey, Father, I am working with a new company, and what we're doing is we're doing an educational campaign. And what I want to do is we're giving anybody that we think that they need this a free $5,000 accidental life insurance. And I thought about you because you've done so much good for our community that I want to gift you a policy. Who would you like to leave as your beneficiary? This is free for 1 year. You're free to have this. If anything happens to you, I want to make sure that your family knows that you have this so they can contact me so we can give them $5,000. So it's going to help with any final expenses. Okay. Who do you want to leave as a beneficiary? Okay. Okay, perfect. Here's your free policy. You give them the certificate. And then you tell the priest, by the way, I would like to extend this to anybody in this community because, for any member of this church, because I know how important this is. And it's very important for us to educate them. And this is something that could be very helpful. So the only thing I'm asking from you is just let them know I'm going to be standing at the exit of the church when the service is done, and I'm just going to collect their name and phone number for anybody that's interested on getting this $5,000 free life accidental insurance. Okay. So let's say that at the end of the church, the priest makes the announcement, you're standing at the door, and let's say that 50 people gave you their name and phone number. So if I give you, and if you ask me, if someone would have given me 50 appointments, a phone number, 50 leads, because that's what they are, a name and a phone number. If you give me 50 appointments, how many would you close? I'll tell you, I'll probably close like 20 or 15 of them, at least. All right. How many could you close? Now, some people's gonna say, hey, I can close 5, I can close 10. Some of them say 50, some of them say 5, 3. All right. Let's say that you were in a really bad day and you only closed one of the appointments. One. Well, let's say that you sold a really bad policy. You saw a final expense, a $50 policy. You made like $500, $400. So if you gave 50 free policies to 50 customers and they cost you $2, what's the investment? $100. So even if you had a really shitty day and you sold only one policy, a really small policy, and you made $400 commission, you already made money. And in addition, let's say that the 50 people told you they already had life insurance. Because guess what? When you go and show up in their house, because you're not just gonna hand them the free certificates, you're gonna make an appointment to go sit down with them and see if there's anything else we can do to help them, right? So let's say that you sat down with them and they all told you that they had life insurance. Well, I'm not just gonna stop there. I'm gonna ask them, hey, by the way, I'm willing to extend this gift to anybody else. You saw this didn't cost you anything. Is there anybody else you would like to send this on your behalf? Your sister? Oh, your sister? Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure I'll get on the phone with her. I'll go visit her and I'll bring her $5,000 life insurance, accidental life insurance at no cost. Can you do me a favor? Can you just send her a text and let her know that I'm going to be calling her so that she doesn't think this is a spam? Guys, where can you get a warmer lead than the sister texting the sister and pay $2 for that lead? Like anywhere. That's just doesn't happen. So again, if you learn how to use this program, you're probably never gonna have to and worry about getting clients again. But listen to this. This is just one strategy on how to use this program. Like there's so many strategies to use this that we could be spending a whole afternoon here of how to create leads through this program. Now, what's the only catch? For every 5 free policies that you give away, we're at least expecting you to be writing one real policy with us because we don't make money through this program. The $2 just to pay for pretty much the claims. So we want to help you get more clients, but obviously we need to make this work for us as well. And then last but not least, I'm going to send this presentation to Crystalline so that she has this. You guys can scan this if you want to, join the AD&D program. So don't worry if you don't have a chance to scan this. You have some information here about our newest 2 programs, the Infinity Banking and our IUL. Again, really cool products. Make sure you check them out. I definitely think that we're going to do a lot of good. They're both instant decision and they all both go up to $500,000. Okay. Coolest part of the presentation to me is our convention. We just got back this year from Scotland. I think we had about 500 people in Scotland with us. So if you want to be part of our annual convention, you guys can qualify to those. What do you need to do to be able to qualify? All you have to sell is $115,000 in a year. So pretty much, if you qualify for one of the FFL's trips, that means and if you write some of that premium with us, that means you can get 2 trips for one. If you qualify for our trips, it's you and a +1, all expenses paid, hotel, flights. We usually cover meals. Even we usually have activities included in there as well. It's not difficult to qualify, and I'm hoping that next year we can have more and more and more FFL people. I'm sure that we're gonna have a bunch of qualifiers from this team. And I don't want to take much time from Marysa, so I'm gonna leave my email here on the screen. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help you guys. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Paula.
so much, Paula. Oh, sorry, Kendall. Thank you so much, Paula. I'll be
Was
sure.
that 25 minutes? Because I was like,
You
oh,
hit it right on the nose, girl. I'm gonna send you some cookies or something. Thank you so much. For I don't know how you did that because I know we can talk. We can talk. But thank you so much. Team, don't any questions, just drop them in the chat. I'll be sure to reach out to Paula after because I do want to we want to make sure that we're respectful of Marissa's time as well. I realize this is one of those rare situations where we had both of these ladies on the same day, and there's a reason behind it, but don't worry about all of that. Just be happy y'all get this double dose of training tonight. But you said some things that I didn't even know. So I'm excited and I will definitely be reaching out. I'm sure that the team will be reaching out too. And hey, if we just got to get you on for another 30 minutes or so, I'll call you real quick. So thank you so much, Paula. We really appreciate you taking the time and sharing that with us. So, all right, team. I know that was like, what? American Amicable does all that. So we're gonna switch gears now. What I like to do is to introduce to some of you and definitely share with everyone Miss Marysa Maggio. Marysa, we are super excited to have you on this call tonight. I'm going to spotlight you and Kendall and myself, and we're just going to fire away and ask you some questions and just have a good time talking tonight so that the team can really get to know you and know all of your accomplishments and what you've done. So start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in this business. Yeah, just start there.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for such an amazing introduction. We really are sisters for life. And guys, that's what thing like in terms of this business, like I just want to start there, like that's what it's about. It's about finding people you actually connect with in the business and walking this path with them because it's going to be a long road. So, just to kind of take it a step back though, in terms of how I got started in the actual industry is I got started in a captive insurance company, meaning I could just work with, one product line. I was barely 20 years old, coming right out of school. My mom had just passed on, and morbidly enough, I walk into a life insurance interview, not even knowing that's what it was. But that being said, I wasn't confused about the importance of life insurance, and I was really excited to kind of leave people, I guess, in a better situation than I was left in, so to say. And that's why I got passionate about it. But that being said, I wasn't always in the right vehicle. So if this is your first kind of venture, so to say, with life insurance, and you're sitting in this vehicle, never mind with the leaders you guys have, like you're sitting in a Ferrari. And I just need you to realize that because I was definitely not always sitting in a Ferrari. And I was working, guys, 100, literally, like all jokes aside, 90-hour weeks from when I was 19 to 23, being told by my boss, you can't sell a dream and make it look like a nightmare. So just trying to keep it together, right? And that's not what this industry is about. In the beginning, yeah, it's move fast, break things. You're going to make mistakes. But guys, long term in this business, you got to be in business with people that you trust. You have to also trust the business or get out respectfully. Like you got to just trust it or you got to believe that it's going to work out. And like that's really what it came back to for me was I knew I loved this industry, but I was in the wrong vehicle. That being said, I got into the IMO space. Really got involved with just, I guess I would say the wrong group of people within that organization. And thankfully enough, I landed, boom in Connecticut at the time in Sean Mike's office. And like I was like, this is gonna be my last shot. And I gave it everything I had, and I'm so thankful I ended up here. So guys, just as blessed as I am to be with FFL, I hope you guys all feel that today too.
Awesome. It's crazy. Marysa, you and we talked before. It's amazing how in this industry we know, unfortunately, death brings us to life insurance, right? Because we're in the deaf business. So again, I'm just excited that you pushed forward. I'm glad you've done everything you've done, because if you hadn't, I wouldn't be talking to you today. So talk us a little bit about, we know that you're an integrity partner, you have a massive team. Tell us a little bit about your team and why team cohesiveness is so important. You see here the numbers that we have on a Sunday night call on our team. We average now about 25, 28 people on Zoom throughout the day, throughout the week. But it took us a while to build this culture. So talk to us about the importance of team cohesiveness and building that culture, and why it's so important, and how it really got you to be an integrity and partner.
Yeah, so what I can say is, it's been a journey. And to kind of my point of, you might be looking at me one of two ways if you're on this call and you don't know me, is maybe she jumped from one insurance company. No, guys, be clear. Like, I found my home, but I wasn't always cohesive within a team. And I think that that's really important to point out. I'm not going to say everybody else was the problem, because then that wouldn't make sense. But what I will say is, I was young. I probably thought I wasn't the problem. However, team cohesiveness is everything. If you're not willing to follow the path of the person who's doing better than you, and like, respectfully, if your upline like shows up less than you, like does less than you, recruits less than you, works less than you, doesn't care, like tells you to do things they've never done, that's a whole different story. But guys, what I can tell you is, based off what I know about the leadership of these individuals, is that's not happening. That being said, you need to take advantage of those virtual hours. Like, I know this because my team wouldn't float if we didn't have a virtual office. Everyone would, we would all be on, island, like we're just on our own time doing our own island, and it doesn't make sense. Long term, you have to commit to the team. I have people tell me all the time, I'm committed, I'm committed. Okay, what's your schedule? You might say that's micromanaging. No, it's me making sure, hey, if you're going to tell me you're committed, I'm going to show up every day at 9 a.m. Central, and I'm looking at the Zoom and it's 10:30 and I notice you're not on. I'm not going to end my world about it. But what I'm going to realize is, hey, you don't really care to show up. It doesn't really seem like. And we don't need like insert excuse. And everybody has things that go on. It's about, are you removing those things? If you were at a W-2 position, would you call it in? And if you would, then you want to at least point it out, because those would be rare scenarios. Those would not be every week scenarios, because you would not be that available, right? So team cohesiveness is everything. You can make every excuse in the world as to why you're not there. It doesn't make sense. If that's what the roadmap is set forth, like, that's what the roadmap says to do. It works, guys. It works because I've seen thousands of people's lives change being with FFL for a bit over 5 years now. It's like, what we do here works by design. It doesn't matter if you don't like you guys get, I mean, you guys have 72 people on right now on Sunday night, so it speaks volumes that like you guys are moving together as a team. But as you bring people in, and as you guys are maybe coming in new and might be asking yourselves, well, why do they want me on Zoom? They want you on Zoom because we want to help. But we can't help you if you don't show up. We can't help you after the fact, right? If I don't call somebody for help in the moment that it's happening, it's a lot harder to get that help after the fact, right? It's usually a lot more alarming to get that help after the fact. It's usually, now we're in the state of an emergency. You don't want that in your business. So allow yourself to call yourself in and be like, you can count on me to show up. Now, I tell my team, hey, I'm never going to call you, Crystal, and be like, well, it's 2:30, and like, I'm not, like, respectfully, I'm not your mom. Even if you want me to do that, I can't do that. But if you're going to call me and be like, I made no money this week. Okay, well, I realized you were on Zoom for about 2 hours, so I probably would have made no money either. What's up? Like, and that might sound rhetorical, but guys, you got to move forward and you got to be honest with yourself. So as you bring people in, helping them understand the culture isn't, let's control everyone. The culture is, if we're all here, we can help. If we're all here, we can move forward together. If we're all here, we can move towards a common goal. If we're all here, we're a lot more likely to get that Transamerica signature signed. If we're all here, okay, we're a lot more likely to get the Core Bridge app pushed through. I promise you, because somebody else dealt with it. But if you're by yourself, like 99, at least I'm not getting it done. Okay. I'm not. I still ask for help on that. And I've been doing this a long time, guys. So it's like, even those small things, it's like, but that's the difference between what would have made your day and what broke your day and what's now breaking your mindset in this business. So it's speaks volumes to say, you guys have people in and out of that virtual office, at that volume, which is great. But the biggest thing, guys, is when you are in that office, how are you utilizing it, and are you utilizing it to its full extent? Because I empower you to do it. And that's the people that are winning right now within our group, no doubt.
I love that. You said a lot right there. Being in it, but utilizing it. One of the things that Kendall, it's like beating a dead horse. Unmute, get on screen, show us your face.
Yeah, like where are you? Why is your camera off, right?
You know,
you you're not helping you.
at all. And I laugh because I was at Think Conference. Yeah, I was at conference, and this lady came up to me. She was like, hey, Crystal, how are you? I was like, hey, how are you? She was like, oh, you know who I am. I said, I do apologize. Give me your name. She gave me her name. I'm not gonna say who it is. I knew her name. I said, I said, yes. How are you? I know your name. I said, because your name is what I see on screen, but I never see your face. So I didn't know who you were. I knew your name, but I didn't know who you were. And so she was like, oh, you right. I don't
I
be
can
showing my
relate.
face. Right. But I've had people on the flip side come up to me. I knew exactly who they were. Like, hey, never met them, but I saw their face on Zoom. So just something that simple. But I love the fact of what you said, to utilize it. You talked about the application, girl. Yes. Raise your listen, utilize it, because we are here to help. And I'm so happy you're humble enough to say you don't know everything. We don't know everything. That's why we're here, right? We have some people that carrier is their niche, and we may have to use that carrier, and it's the first time we've ever used them. So Zoom does that. So yeah, I just had to point that out. Kendall, I want to open it up to you because I know Kendall definitely has some questions.
Everybody wants to know what's the magic lead. What lead are you running? What lead are you running? And can you stress the importance of it doesn't matter. The lead doesn't matter. It's the activity.
So, like the good news and the bad news, guys, is that there is no magical lead. Like there's not. There's never going to be one. Like I've been looking for it since, for a long time, like almost a decade, guys. I was looking for it. There's not one. I've never heard of a magic lead. All I've heard of is a work ethic. A work ethic and a willingness to get hung up on, a willingness to get rejected, a willingness to not care if somebody tells you, don't call my phone ever again. I'm gonna call the police on you. Like, okay, like they're not gonna call the police on you, first of all. Second of all, it's gonna be okay. My point being, guys, is there's no magic lead. To that point, though, Kendall, what I will say is there was a time where kind of before this whole virtual wave, when it was kind of hitting, that I was in the home and I was on direct mail mortgage. That's what I grew up in FFL and in the IMO world on, which is, guys, it's a very direct lead. They get a piece of paper in the mail, they fill it out, they send it back, which sounds great in theory, okay? Now, at that time, I was paying, about 90 to $100 a lead, right? And you guys might be like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, she's crazy, which
Yeah.
is, it was dumb, right? And it got even more like stupid as time went on. But my point is, if direct mail works, you're not hating on you. But what I'm saying is, guys, I've gotten the good leads. And guess what, Kendall? I've gotten about 20 of those on my desk in a week. And I called 10 of them. And they're like, don't ever call me again. I'll call the police on you. I get the same objections, okay? I get the same exact things that are said to me. Because, guys, it's not the lead. It's the person who's holding the lead. It's what you're going to say. People say you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Like it goes both ways. My point is like if you're an extremely combative person with the lead, or you pick the leads up and say these are awesome or these are terrible, whatever you think it is, it is. I had a mentor of mine early on in this business, luckily point that out to me when I started talking about I started sweating these leads at the time were to a retro mortgage, which you might remember, right? And they were like, those were like also like $90 a lead, guys. That was normal for us. We were like, oh, just 90 for that retro mortgage lead, sign us up,
Yes,
right?
we're paying it. Yep.
It's like, but we didn't care because we still were making money, let's be clear. But at the same time, it's like there was a time where that happened and I started talking myself into how those didn't work and how the people were always objecting me and was it actually worth the $89.42 because after I did the math out, what I needed to stop doing was the math out. I needed to go to work and stop doing the math out and realize like hey, as long as I'm making money at the end of the month, I'm not overspending. Like, don't upgrade your lifestyle right now. Like, it's your first day. Like, no. It's your first day. You got to downgrade the lifestyle. Then you get to upgrade it. But I think we all missed that part. So, guys, my point is there's never going to be a magic lead, but there's going to be a magic work ethic and a magic schedule that you can find within yourself. And that's literally about it.
That's perfect because I remember when I was doing mortgage leads and I was like, man, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And then the price went up to $100 a lead, and we were still buying them, but the data wasn't coming in. So
Yeah.
like you used to. So we relied on just that type of lead instead of doing what this old agent said. She said, you date all of them, but marry none of them, which means you use all the different lead types,
Yep.
versus being stuck on one and then something happens, it goes belly up, then you like, oh my God, you're scrambling. You don't have any other leads that you can purchase.
Exactly. You got to always have a place to pivot to, no doubt, because when that happened, it's like that, yeah, that died really quick. It died a quick, slow death. But guys, like that's the beautiful thing too about now being virtual. It's like that looks a lot different than it did. Like, you know, you can be like, there's no excuse about leads in the world that somebody could give me like right now, and like I'll be like, oh, that's valid. It's just like not within Family First Life, not with the people I know you guys have around you. It's like there's too many resources and there's too many results that are happening from the same resources. It's almost like we could debate, right? That if Crystal, who she's not, who's an amazing woman and an adult, if she didn't like me and I called her and I said, "Hey Crystal, what lead vendors do you use or do you recommend? I need some help." That she could push me to a wrong vendor. But then we can reverse that and we can ask ourselves a better question, which is a better one when you're working together with somebody, which is if Crystal has financial gain on me, which whoever or Kendall, if that's how you have to look at it for right now, until you trust them as leaders, look at them that way. Because they do. Why are they going to point you in the wrong direction? Why are they going to tell you to do something that they never did? They're not going to. They want you to make money, but they don't make a dime until you make $3. That's the part a lot of us have to realize. It's like, why would somebody push you in the wrong direction? Even when Crystal has no financial merit in me, she's pushing me in the right direction. So why would she push you in the wrong or anybody? Guys, it doesn't make logical sense. So it's like they're working the same thing that you are. They're doing the same thing that they're telling you to do the same thing they did in a situation that got them out of it. They're trying to let their hindsight be your foresight, but not if you don't let them. And that's for a lot of things in this business. And sometimes the hardest thing is almost letting the agent fall on their face and watching it and just being like, hey, I tried so hard to tell you that was going to happen. I tried to tell you that was going to happen, whatever it is. And I tried to tell you this was what was going to happen. You didn't want to hear me. But like, you don't even have to say it. It's like when you walk in as a kid and it's like the guilt, like your mom's awake in the living room and you walk in at 2:30 a.m. Like it's on. All right. Like, like it's the same type of feeling, but you have to realize sometimes we're not allowing it or we're not trusting it. So trust the people you have in front of you because they've walked they've walked the path, they've built the team, they've sold the policies, they've done these things, they've duplicated leadership. Like it's possible to be done with the people you're working with. So just allowing yourself to have a mindset of I trust what they're saying because they're more where I want to be than I am right now.
That's powerful. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny hearing it back. It's like,
Right.
yeah, duh. I'm not going to lead you down the wrong path. I want you to win. And Kendall said, I want you to win big. Like, yeah, we want you to win majorly, right? That's awesome. So,
And I just want to
obviously.
add this in here too. And like I don't just say this, guys, because like Crystal and Kendall, y'all have me on here tonight. Like I say this because I genuinely feel this really in my heart. Like when Crystal asked me to be on, first of all, I was like, let's go. Like, yeah, I'd love to be on. And anytime you guys present yourselves in a room, you guys present yourselves in a room first and foremost with grace, but also in a way of like, we know who we are. And guys, not everybody in this business knows who they are. Not most people don't got it figured out at all of who they are. And when you can figure out who you are, it's really powerful. So you're sitting here with two really powerful people, and like that means like a lot to me because I've been blessed with their presence and grace in a little bit of time that I have known them. But what I will say is you're with people who actually care about you. They don't just care about the financial gain. And I think sometimes we don't bring that up because we don't want to. So I just like to pull that elephant in the room, and I just want you both to know that I believe you're genuine people. That's why I brought that up because it's like, guys, they're not looking at you to make a dime or a dollar. They're wanting to help you win because there was a time where maybe they weren't winning. Okay. And I know there's a time I wasn't winning. And having someone else want to win with me, it meant the world. So just never short merit that.
All right, we appreciate that. We appreciate it. What would you say was the biggest mistake you made? You've been in the industry, what you said, 8 years, 9 years?
9 years, yeah.
So what was the biggest mistake you made, and what's the one thing you wish you could have did different?
Well, I would say the biggest mistake I made would have been starting at a different IMO prior to FFL, which I don't know if that's really would have been a mistake, but I would say that is my big, if I had to think about it. And I would say the piggyback off of that would be walking through the door at FFL, being too jaded by a prior opportunity to fully believe in what I was looking at. And I think over time that changed. But I know when I first came in, I was walking on eggshells. I was like, they're gonna lie. This is what I literally said. I said, I told the person who got me to join and then got me down to Connecticut to meet Sean. I told them, I know the numbers you guys post on the internet are fake, but I'll come by because I think I want to where you guys have a higher comp. It does make sense, blah, 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 right? Trying to talk my way into like, it does make sense. But I know you guys lie about the numbers, okay? It's like it stunted what needed to happen to not happen soon enough. And that was because I was telling myself, and then it's like, lo and behold, guys, like the numbers that I was calling fake, I'm on the graphic the next month. It's like, oh, like, oh, like, okay, like everything we're looking at is real numbers in real time, real people, real results. So what I would say is allowing yourself to get uncomfortable quick and invite people in fast. And don't be intimidated if you invite somebody in, whether that's your best friend or that's somebody that you haven't talked to since high school or college or it's your daughter's neighbor's boyfriend's brother. It doesn't matter who it is. Don't define what you're doing in the business to what their success will or won't be. You can't tie your like how you're doing. That's like me being like, let's just take everybody on this call and be like, oh, well, whatever we averaged in school, that's the average that everybody on this call would get. No, just because somebody was a D school student in the sixth grade, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to come in here and flop. Like, honestly, they'll probably do better. Like, but like, I'm kidding. Okay. I'm kidding. But my point is it can go anyway. So stop being selfish with the opportunity and start sharing it sooner. Trust what's in front of you, see it for what it is. If you need validation, ask for it. But the best validation you can give to yourself is doing the work and seeing the numbers speak for themselves.
I love it because we do have a lot of people that come from practice companies, right? And it can go either way. But if you think about it, we all come from somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be a practice company. You could have been a very successful manager and worked at Walmart. I don't know. You could, just to lead people. And because everybody comes with prerequisites, right? It's either a chip on the shoulder or a learning opportunity, all in how you take
Exactly.
it. So I do know that, with the level of success that you're having, we'll wrap it up with this, but with the level of success that you're having and what your team is doing, what do you see for yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so really what I see for myself in the next 3 to 5 years is really helping other people get to a level where they believe in themselves that, like how I didn't guys 5 years ago walking into this opportunity, how I do today. And I say that in a way of I want to make other people proud of themselves. Like that's really what I'm hoping to get out of this opportunity in terms of from a numerical standpoint, what I'm hoping to see, because I know that guys, at the end of the day, when we come in here, we help people by making money, literally, because through selling insurance and bringing people in, we make money, right? It's a byproduct of what we're doing, but making a difference on a bigger scale of that and being able to say, like, hey, not only did I touch thousands of clients' lives, but I touched thousands of agents' lives at this point. And not only to a point of just touch their life like they got a deposit, but touch their life like they're making over 6 figures and living the way that they want to. And that's what means the most to me. So I appreciate you guys immensely for having me on. It means the world. And thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Marissa, thank you. We appreciate it. Taking time to get on our call tonight.
Thank you so much, Marysa. Like you dropped some bars tonight. I hope everybody caught some of them because I definitely take notes. I pride myself in being like a sound listener. So you dropped some nuggets and I definitely will be utilizing,
No
especially
doubt
coming
about
from
it.
previous places for sure. But Marysa, we just thank you once again for taking the time. I know you got a fan in Rami because Rami was dropping fire signs in the chat.
I appreciate you guys immensely. Make it a great
Thank you
night.
so much. We'll see you
Thank
at
Thank you,
you.
night.
Marissa.